set the club, light the match.
We follow the slope. We hit down.
My ball position really doesn't change. It stays off the front foot.
If you can do a couple of lines successfully, then I'll let you have a golf ball.
Hello, and welcome to Best Lessons Ever. I'm your host, Michael Breed, and I'm in the bunker. And when you're done with this show, you're going to love being in the bunker because we're going to cover everything. The standard bunker shot to the buried light to the fairway bunker. We're tackling it all with tips and drills from the greatest players of all time. Kicking it off, a foursome of Hall of Famers, beginning with Gary Player.
When I gave lessons, I made it very simple. I drew a matchbox. And I put a ball in the middle of the matchbox like that. And I said to my student, look, when you used to light a match in the old days on a matchbox, you'd have to psst. If you went through slowly like that, it wouldn't light. So I drew the matchbox here, and they had to get that to light it. So we call it strike the match. That's the first thing. Secondly, you've got to stand wider in a bunker shot because you don't want to have a lot of leg action. And if you stand wide, it curtails the amount of leg action you use. And then the most important thing is to set that club as quickly as you can. You can never set it quickly enough. Three things: stand wide, set the club, light the match.
Let's see you hit one right
now,
away. Let's get right
here we
to
want to hit the high one, though. So now what we're going to talk about is the high shot and reading the sands and the different kinds of shots that we faced up to. Because as we've said, there's more, way more to read in a bunker than there is on a green. Right, here we want this high, soft shot. So the first thing I do, strengthen my grip. Why? Well, let me look at you, Martin, and say this. If I grip the club there, watch the club face, and I weaken my grip, I de-loft it. If I strengthen my grip, look at the loft. You add loft. So by strengthening the grip, you add loft. Secondly, do not ever get your hands in front because you de-loft the club. You get your hands slightly behind. So my hands are behind. I've strengthened the grip, and now I make sure that I just light the match. Watch this one, baby.
Very good. How far should we hit the sand behind the ball?
I think the most important thing you can do in the bunker, in my mind, is consistently hit about that far behind it. Everything else is secondary. If you hit that far behind it, it's going to come out onto the green. If you hit that far behind it, it's going right there, right? Yep. And if you don't hit the sand, it's going across the green on the other side. So you can say all you want about a bunker shot, but the most important thing is to be able to hit about that far behind the ball. And the reason why people have trouble doing that is they don't center themselves. And what I try to do is put my nose right on that spot, which is right there. Right here. Now, when you hit that spot, it won't show up there because the flange is that wide. It'll show up back here. But in reality, you're trying to hit about this far behind the ball, and you put your nose right on that spot. If I put my head like that, I'll probably hit back here. If I put my head on the ball, you'll hear that click, and it'll go right over the green. So it's the most important thing you can do in the bunker, if you ask me, is center your head and everything about your body right on that spot, because that's your goal, is to hit that spot, not the ball. The ball has nothing to do with it.
I'm a big believer in making sure you get your stance a little bit wider, making sure you get down on the golf ball a little bit more. And you notice how my club face is laid way open here? To do that, my shaft angle now is going to come back towards the middle of my stance a little bit. So I'm going to have a little bit of a V shape or U shape from the club head to my left shoulder, where in a normal address position, it's almost a straight line. So I get myself very much rooted into the sand. Now I'm very, very stable. My hands are low. Grip pressure's light. My hands are back behind the ball. Now what I'm going to do is just take a real nice, shallow, low swing. I'm not cocking my wrist too early. I'm taking a shallow swing because I want that club head to slice in underneath like this. I don't want to chop it in to dig it out. I'm trying to let that club head slide in. And my key thought to everybody out there, as you watch this from that camera angle, my key thought is the hosel of the golf club, or the neck of the golf club, that is my leader all the way through. I'm pulling that part of the golf club through the sand and not letting it get buried into the sand and let anything get ahead of it. So this part of the golf club right here is going to be pulled through with the rotation of my body.
That's nice. We have a rake. Not necessarily for raking the bunker, but give you a straight line. So put him down, right? And I really recommend for a while, maybe 5-10 minutes, you don't hit a golf ball, but you put your left heel onto this line, somewhere there, you stand open, you draw a line to help you if you wish, and then the next thing is you open the club face as much as you like, and I want you to point your grip still at your belly button, so you don't open it like this. So many people are like that, they've heard, get your hands forward, or behind's actually better than forward. So, but for now, point the butt of the club, so open it up, put it on the ground, then grip it, okay? Now we want to try and find the sand. So there's two faults here. So what we're trying to do is time it so the bounce of the club lands exactly in your little groove there. And I'll give you a very simple tip. If you're all hands, guess what? You hit it there. If you're one of those that looks up, you're going to hit it too late. So work it out. So if you're somebody who's all hands trying to help it, you've got to find a way to get more chest so you get the club entering the sand there. If you're obviously this person who's very much that, well, then you've got to stay down. I'll let you actually just try and throw it a little bit more with your hands to try and find the spot. So after you've done that for maybe a little bit of time, you know, get comfortable with that. If you can do a couple of lines successfully, then I'll let you have a golf ball. So you go down the line again, finding the sand. And when we come to the golf ball, without thinking about it, we whack it like so, yeah?
We're off to a strong start here on Best Lessons Ever, but you know we're just scratching the surface. Coming up, Phil Mickelson tackles not one but two of golf's most difficult shots. Plus, we're going to turn back the clock to Billy Casper and his approach to the buried lie.
That's how he taught me. He says, learn to hit bunker shots, he says, on one leg. There it is. And that's how he taught me to play.
Well, hi, I'm Luke Donald. Again, I'm here in the bunker. Let me show you a few things that I work on, a couple simple drills. They'll help you get the ball out of the bunker nice and high, coming down nice and soft. One of the drills that I do sometimes is I'll actually put sand on the club face, and when I set up to it, the idea is to keep this face open enough that I throw the sand behind me, and that's the path you want in a bunker shot. You want it nice and wide with the toe opening up. As soon as you get steep with the shaft leaning forward, you're going to use that front edge too much and create thick divots. You want nice shallow, wide around you, nice shallow divots, and that should get the ball nice and up. So let me try one with the sand on. Throw it behind me. The ball will come out nice and soft. You can get the sand on your club, get it around you, take nice shallow divots. That's going to help you in the bunker.
Great bunker play is within reach. Coming up on Best Lessons Ever, a pair of major champions, Hale Irwin and Paul Azinger, on their secrets to what many feel is the toughest shot in the game, the long bunker shot.
Come in steep on these fairway bunker shots. To do that, I cast my wrists a little early, and this shallows out the angle of attack. And even though I'm leading the approach into the ball with the leading edge of the club, as long as I get the leading edge below the equator of the ball, these shots should come out just fine. You'll notice I just cast my wrists a little early, and the ball should come out just like it was from the fairway.
Meet five-time Olympian Katuna Lore.
It's really the key to improving your bunker game. Most people are just way too close to it to start, and their club face isn't open enough. We talked about that already. And the importance of getting farther away from it is really huge. Even on a longer bunker shot, you still want to be a little bit farther away from it. You know, logically, I won't open the club face quite as much, and I won't have my hands quite as far back. My goal is always to slip the club past the ball. But I think that when I say normal weight distribution, normal swing off my normal home course sand, the only variance there is that I get a normal ball flight or a normal distance from those three normals. Now that I have to hit it farther than normal, I can actually make the same amount of swing with more weight right, Brandel, and hit the ball farther. This particular flag is even a little farther than just the weight shift change would make. When my weight goes to the right, I enter shallower, and the ball will go farther. Here I'll probably swing a little harder than normal with a little more weight right. And that's how I do it. It's pretty much a normal swing. It may be a hair harder than normal, but I like to move my weight around, you know, and just like if I want to hit a short one, I move my weight left if I want to hit a short one. And now I swing a little harder than normal, and I can hit it shorter and create more spin. So, you know, I get in here, I'll lean left. I'm probably 60-40, 70-30 left. And I can get it to go up with more spin.
If you've got a bunker shot that's a little longer than you're comfortable playing with a sand wedge or your gap wedge, consider the 9-iron. If you hit it just the same as you would your other wedges, you're going to get a ball that travels a little farther. How many times have you been in a bunker, hitting a 9-iron, perhaps from 100, 110 yards, you hit it fat, and it went 25 or 30 yards? Well, that's what we're trying to do here. So all I'm doing is trying to create that missed shot, but it's a planned shot. So do it just the same. The stance is the same. I lay the club face open. I aim for the same point in the sand, and I take the same swing. And you get a ball that comes out a little flatter. It gets a little more run out, but it's that less risk involved. So just consider that.
So I like my students, when I'm hitting a little bit of a longer bunker shot, to just take some loft off the face. You might have it set up like that. I want you to just close that face just a little bit, and then you're just going to make a full swing like that. That ball's going to come out exactly the distance that you're looking for. Now, coming up on Best Lessons Ever, we've got the most difficult shots that you can find in a bunker. We'll deal with that when we return. And hit these shots to different hole locations. What I want you to do is use this little game and what you're about to learn on how to play from the bunker's most difficult lies to improve your bunker play.
Now we are faced with one of the most difficult trap shots, that of buried lie, or commonly known as a fried egg. I still employ a slightly open stance, but instead of leaving the blade open like this, I close it up. The object now is to hit about 2 to 3 inches in back of the ball, keeping the left hand moving. Like so. This shot you cannot stop, so you have to just sort of lift it out of the trap and let it hit the green and let it roll.
When you have this uphill lie and you tilt this way, your weight definitely goes a little bit more on your right side. So it's okay to have it on your right, but just don't let it shift to your left as you go through, because if you start shifting, you're going to get level again, and when you get level, you're going to dig into the sand, and it's not going to bounce off of it. So you have to really stay still and go ahead and let the club slide underneath the ball.
That's an awfully good one. One other thing that you're doing that shouldn't be lost on the viewer is you are not stopping at the ball. You see so many times when you've got an uphill lie, right after impact, it's almost like the club head has stopped. You are driving hard straight through to complete your golf swing.
Yeah, you know, with this method, it's very important to keep swinging all the way through because if you stop, the ball's going to it may not even get out of the bunker. So on an uphill lie, if you stop your swing, you're going to have shots like that happen. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and hit it. You'll be amazed doing this how hard you can hit the shot and still have it go a short distance. That's a full swing right there. might come back a little bit off the hill. That was a full swing and only went about 20 yards.
This is the uphill lie, so my feet are below the ball, right? So what generally happens is the amateur golfer digs in too much because, of course, his feet are below the ball. He wants to dig in too much. So what I'm doing here is it's the same technique apart from the fact that I'm going to not give it 5 inches behind the ball, but only about 3. So this takes a bit of practice, don't get me wrong. So what we're doing here is we're going slightly nearer the ball to hit through that way. And that's a much better shot than actually trying to dig down because I am below the ball. You have a shallower swing and you're hitting down too much, and of course that's what causes that problem. This is the horrible one. We hate to see from a distance a ball that we've hit into a bunker and it's rolled up the face and it's stuck here on the downslope. We hate this. The one thing we must not do here is try and get this ball airborne. If I have, this club is 60 degrees, if I open the club up, I have about 80 degrees on this club. Well in advance of the lip. So what we mustn't do is, what amateurs try and do is get here and try and lift the ball up. We follow the slope. We hit down. And we hit down and through, allowing the loft of the club and the bounce of the club to take effect. So, open the club face, weight on the left side, and we hit down. And that's what we do. Now, of course, because I'm in this position Z here, of course, I've hit it to 20 foot. But hey, I've still got a putt for a par.
Learning from the best bunker players will have you playing from the sand with a lot more confidence. You just have to remember to strike the match like Gary Player, or keep those hands a little bit more vertical like Greg Norman, and play around with your weight distribution. Maybe you're going to place it a little bit more on the lead leg for those shorter shots, and then you're going to move it back for the longer shots. The key is to find which of these tips, drills, and lessons are going to work best for you. I'd like to thank the folks here at Tranquilo Golf Club at the Four Seasons Resort in Orlando, and I want to thank